Hello and welcome to this Scottish European Educational Trust tutorial on storyboarding. Specifically, we'll be looking at storyboarding for filmmaking, and you will learn why we use storyboarding in film production. You will also learn what a storyboard is and is not. And as part of this learning process, you will become a good storyboard creator. And of course, storyboard involves drawing, so you will learn something about drawing. For now, let me introduce myself. My name is Tim Flood. This is me drawing a simple cartoon of myself just to prove that I do some drawing. And of course, I have produced lots of storyboards in the past. And now the big question is really, why do we use storyboarding in film production? Well, there are several reasons. Primarily, let's assume we have a script, we need to visualize that story. We also need to choose the camera shots and the movements of the camera and the movements of the actors. These can all go in the storyboard. We need to consider shot sequences, why shot A follows shot B in order to tell the story. And we need to consider how long each shot lasts. A good storyboarder enables the story to be shown and not told through words. After all, that's what filmmaking is about. So what do we mean to visualize? In other words, how do we see? I like to use optical illusions to illustrate some of the ways in which the unconscious processes of our mind affect how we see and how we perceive. This happens in film all the time. Of course, these two lines are the same length. And incredibly, this is a still image. Use the pause button if you don't believe me. For most of us, when we want to draw a cat, we don't actually look carefully at what we're seeing. Our unconscious habits come into play, and what happens is we draw a symbol for a cat. These symbols usually consist of a round head, eyes evenly spaced apart, nose in the middle, and usually 6 whiskers. This person's represented symbols for legs, but they have looked carefully and noted that there are green eyes. Let's look at some examples of what is not a storyboard. I often see these in schools. They are a series of drawings of characters in long shot. They show nothing of the language of the camera and how the camera narrates a story. These examples of a storyboard were found on a website called Storyboard That, and again, they are not related to filmmaking storyboards. Here we're beginning to see what a storyboard needs to contain. There will need to be a variety of camera positions. Sometimes the camera may be close, at other times far away to show the whole scene. Occasionally we might see a high angle shot, as in the last image here. We may also see a point of view, that is, the camera is in the position of a character in the story. Shot 5 here shows the camera in the position of the cat's head. This is called a point of view. So let's look at some good examples of a storyboard. Shot 4 shows a big close-up of this character, and underneath it says a moment of clarity. That's important. More sophisticated storyboards show all sorts of detail of movement, they are annotated, and they give the filmmaker a really good guide on what they are going to shoot. Let's now have a look at how to storyboard, and this, I believe, is the very best way to do it. First, you're going to need to find some A4 paper and draw 6 boxes. Then you're going to go to YouTube and find a film that you really like. But I suggest starting with Danny McCaskill's Imaginate. The reason I use this film is that there is only one line of dialogue. The whole story is told through images. And what you need to do is click on the pause button at each of these 6 points and draw what you see on the screen in each of the 6 boxes. Underneath, you can write about what you cannot draw, that is sound and movement of the actors and movement of the camera. You can also, in the corner of each box, write the duration of each shot. Once you have done that, you will have produced a storyboard something like this. We're not too worried about the drawing skills, but you will have drawn close-ups. You will have drawn a point of view. And maybe these are the first times that you have actually noticed these sorts of shots in a film and the particular sequence that they fall in to tell a story. And we can see that this example of a storyboard is quite different to the previous examples that we saw. So, let's just have a recap of some of the things that we've done. We have looked at why we use storyboards in filmmaking. We have also understood what a good storyboard is. We have undertaken an exercise to become a good storyboard creator. And in the process, we've learnt a little bit about the unconscious processes involved in drawing. And if you'd like to learn more, have a look at the next tutorial in the series.